divide. And we're gonna do it by long division. Do you guys remember long division from elementary school? I think that's the last time you guys did long division. So exciting. We're coming back to it. And just as long of a process it was, this is a long process also. But it also could be just as simple. Make sure that when we're going through these examples that you listen carefully, because once you look away for a second, boom, you're going to be completely lost. So please make sure that you're following through. So before we begin, we're going to look at dividing polynomials using long division. To be successful, we need to be able to write expressions using placeholders if needed, and we'll talk about placeholders. Well, actually, let's talk about it now. A placeholder is, yes. Let's say we have x to the fourth plus x to the second plus x. Look, if you look at my exponents, we've got 4, 2, and we've got 1. Which one's missing? X to the what? X to the third. So when we divide, we need to have a place for it. So we're going to rewrite it. Let's say it's x to the fourth plus x to the third. But because there's nothing there, we're going to put a 0x to the third plus x squared plus x. Does everybody see that? So when we write it or when we rewrite it, we need to have every single exponent after the or before the highest. So if there isn't one like here, we're going to add 1 with 0 as its coefficient. So that's what a placeholder is. All right, so after we do that, we're going to divide the first term. Notice how we're only looking at the first term of each expression. So we're going to look at the first term of the dividend. Remember, the dividend is the number inside that division symbol. And we're going to divide it by the first term in the divisor. So it's kind of working backwards. Then we're going to multiply the result by the divisor, subtract the expressions, and when we subtract them, we're basically changing their sides and adding. And then we're going to bring down the next term and then start the steps all over again. For your warm-up, go ahead and use long division to find out what 592 divided by 46 is. Now, when we rewrite this first number that is shown is going to be your dividend, which is the number inside that little division sign. The second number that's stated will be your divisor, which is the number on the outside. You cannot do this by just watching. Please make sure you have something to write with and you're following along, please. And as you're doing these steps, remind yourself, what operation did you do? Did you add? Did you subtract? Did you multiply? Then we said, well, 59 is divisible by 46 one time. Then we multiplied 46 times 1. We got 46. And what did we do after that? Once we multiplied, what did we do? Subtracted. Once we subtracted, we've got 1, we got 13, and then we brought down the next term, which was 2. And then we do the process all over again. How many times does 46 go into 132? 2 times. So then we multiply again, 46 times 2, and we get 92. And again, and we end up with 40. And there's nothing left over here, which means 40 is my remainder. So my answer is 12 with a remainder of 40. Any questions so far? All right, so now we're going to use that same process with this example. So go ahead and write it down. Remember the first number stated is your dividend, which is the number on the inside. And this one is your divisor, the number on. So we've got x minus 5 on the outside divided by x cubed minus 7x squared. And what do you notice about the next term? We don't have an x, so we're going to use a placement or a placeholder, 0x plus 14. Questions so far? So again, because the original problem did not have an x, then we use 0x as its placeholder. Questions so far? So that's the very first step. We need to put your placeholders where they need to be. Now, we're going to look at the first term in both of them. So we look at this term and we look at this term. Now, because we have two terms here, that means we're going to start writing them on above the second term. So I always like to put that little arrow so I know where to start writing. So I'm going to get the first term in my dividend, the number on the inside, and I'm going to divide it by the first term on the outside. Actually, let me use two different colors. There we go. And x cubed divided by x is going to be x squared. Because remember, when we have no exponent, that means there's 1, and we subtract our exponent. So 3 minus 1 is 2. This number that we get here will be my first number up here, x squared. And just like we did over here, when we multiplied 1 times 46, that's exactly what we're going to do here. We're going to get that x squared, and we're going to multiply it times x minus 5. So we get x squared times x, we get x cubed. X squared times negative 5 is negative 5x squared. I'll let you guys process that for a little bit. Let me know if you have any questions on this first part. All right, here we go. Now that we have that one, we're going to grab it. Oh, sorry, I should do it in pink. And we're going to write it underneath these two terms, x cubed minus 5x squared. All right, now over here, remember after we multiplied, we subtracted. And anytime we subtract an expression, it basically changes the sign of everything inside the expression. So over here, as soon as you write it down, you want to change the sign. And you know you wrote down the right quotient when both of these are exactly the same before you subtract. Notice how both of them were x to the third power because we want to cancel them. So now we're going to subtract. These cancel. They should cancel after you do the opposite. And then we add these two, negative 2x squared. Questions so far? We bring down the next term just like we do with regular division. So this is plus 0x And then we do the process all over again. So now my first term is negative 2x squared. Negative 2x squared divided by x. And we get negative 2x. So this negative 2x, we're going to place it up here. And now we're going to multiply that times the expression in the divisor, which is x minus 5. And then we distribute. 2x times x minus 5, or x is negative 2x squared. Negative 2x times negative 5 is positive 10x. So this whole thing, we're going to write it under here. Negative 2x squared plus 10x. Now again, we look at these two, they're exactly the same, so we know we got the right quotient. And now we're going to change our sign. This becomes a positive, and this one becomes a negative. These cancel, and we get negative 10x. And then we bring down the next term, plus 14. Right, we look at the first term again, and we divide. Negative 10x divided by x. And our quotient is negative 10. So we grab that negative 10 and we place it here. And then we multiply it times the divisor, x minus 5. Distribute. And we grab this one and we put it under the last answer we got. We double check they're exactly the same. They are. So now we change the sign. This becomes positive. Oopsie. And this one becomes a negative. These cancel. We get negative 26 or 36. 36. And because there's nothing else to bring down, this becomes our remainder. Now, the way you write remainders with polynomials, go ahead and put a little answer box here. We have x squared minus 2x minus 10, then remainder. The remainder becomes the numerator, and the denominator is the divisor.